Hey folks, Nick Harrington here. Today is Sunday, October 20th, and most importantly, happy pheasant opener to all who celebrate, and that is a lot of folks. South Dakota is the greatest state to pheasant hunt. Hunters from across the country come here. Its residents are out there, but I am not. I am still out fishing, and this is why. The bite is still really good. This is actually one of the best bites we have all year. So we are at that time of year and here in South Dakota that you can do any outdoor activity that you want to do. We have pheasants. Pheasant season is open. Sounds like by all accounts hunting is very good. There are very good bird numbers out there. Big thing out there is if you are pheasant hunting, please be mindful of the hot fire danger. Please don't park on dry vegetation, tall grass. Please just be parking on gravel, be parking on rock. Make sure there's no vegetation pressed up against your vehicle. If you got chains or anything like that, make sure you're not dragging them. Just have a fire extinguisher. Just really be mindful this time of year. So that's my plug here as a guy that this is the things I worry about. But I was a little less concerned about starting a wildfire out on the water today, but the bite was pretty hot. And one thing that we're actually seeing here in the Pierre area is something that we're not really used to seeing. Our friends over east certainly are, but the bite seems to be really light dependent, which is very new for us, very unique. Usually here in South Dakota, it's on the Missouri River at least, we have the flow. They bite all day long, but we don't have a lot of wind today. We've got a little bit more now here that I've got home, but a super high sun, super high, no clouds in the sky. And even yesterday, same conditions, even with a little wind, they just would not, it was really interesting. They would only really bite around that morning and sunset. And same thing this morning, I went out and bottom bounced, and I had a fantastic bite. I couldn't keep 2 lines in the water up until about 8:45, and then I really didn't have a problem keeping 2 lines in the water. We still caught some fish, but definitely slowed down quite a bit. So that's probably my number one thing. But the nice thing is, for all you pheasant hunters out there, that means the bite is it's waiting for you. Essentially, I mean, that's how I'd look at it. You can start your morning right away. You can have your fish by 9 o'clock, and then you can be out hunting it at 10 when the shooting hours for pheasants start. Same thing after you get your birds out in the field, you can go out sunset and catch fish. So that's pretty. It's definitely a unique challenge, but it's also a big opportunity for those hunters here. So that's pretty much my biggest fishing report. Trolled some crankbaits yesterday after the Husker game. That was horrible, by the way. Let's not talk about that. But trolled some crankbaits, caught some nice fish. No real big fish. That's kind of what we were looking for, but definitely some nice fish here. Kind of trolling around, Farm Island area. And then out here again, main body today, bottom bouncing, how I like to fish. And like I said, I couldn't keep them in for the first hour, and then it definitely slowed down. But there wasn't much flow. There was really high sun, so I mean that would make sense. It's just a challenge that here in Pierre we're just really not used to experiencing. A couple other bites up there. Kind of hearing some mixed reviews from that Casca Whitlock area. All those guys are out, of course, trying to catch a big one, trying to catch another state record. Last year we had 2 state records come out of that area. Trolling was the way to get them. That's what some guys are doing now, trying to troll for the real big ones. That's the most popular way. But some of those guys are live scoping too. Sounds like there's some of those eater quality fish still kind of on the shorelines and in a little bit shallower water, but those fish do sound still pretty deep. So if you are going to get out there, I would just encourage you. I'm all for catching trophies. I'm all for catching big ones, but once you get it, if you're out in that deep water, anything over 30 feet, just know you're going to have some increased mortality. So it's if you're scoping trees in 40-60 feet, just know, even if it swims away, that fish is probably going to die from that deep water mortality. So that's just kind of my plug. That's just kind of my plug there. But yeah, I mean, this is the time of year. There's still a lot of campers in Farm Island, so that was awesome to see too. Folks just getting out, but fishing is good. Again, here in Pierre, really focus on that sunrise sunset. That's a unique thing that we're not used to experiencing, but that means we do have to get up early here, folks, which that's not always the case here. Sometimes it gets better about 10, 11 o'clock. So definitely unique here. Same thing up in that, Mobridge to a Casca to Gettysburg, that whole area. Sounds like there's big fish to be caught. Sounds like it's not quite what it was last year, but at the same time, cracking 2 state records and numerous other teeners is pretty tough to top. So However you like to get out, whether you're pheasant hunting, whether you're camping, whether you're fishing, go enjoy it. This is our time of year. Good fishing.